Alright, so I'm going to give you a look at my harpooner build. I have two builds that I use depending on what aspect I'm running. One build that you're going to be interested in if you're a brand new player and you want to be able to be effective out there is the one on the right of this Echo Gump here, the Poon Boater build. This one does not require any high aspect. It does not require any links. In order to be effective. Essentially, it will get you to swing speed cap, which is key for Dexters. So if you're not aware of Dexter builds, which is what a harpoon boater is, it's a Dexter. Accuracy is number one. You want to make sure everything, everything that you're slinging is hitting. And then you want to do swing speed. So after everything hits, you want to make sure you hit often. So hit hard, hit often. After that is, you want to stack damage and damage mitigation and things like that. So you'll notice on both of these builds on the right-hand side, I don't have parry. That's because, in my opinion, for boating, parry is not really necessary. However, on the right-hand side, you'll see that I have arms lore, which comes in handy when you actually do end up in PvP. The main detractor of not having parry on a harpooner build is if you get another harpooner and they board you, you're going to have a bad time, most of the time anyway, because they're going to be able to dodge attacks and you're probably not going to be able to dodge attacks. It's going to hurt. So that being said, so the one on the left is more of my farming build. I'm just gathering leather with forensic eval. It's just kind of like a comfortable build that if you look at, for example, anatomy, why do I have 100 anatomy? It's not really necessary. Well, that's because I'm taking into account PvP, right? Because if you don't know, there's a PvP damage cap, which is calculated by max anatomy plus max tactics, and then up to 20% melee damage bonus cap, right? So focus actually does give you some melee damage, and chivalry does as well as forensic eval. So I'm not really hurting. I'm actually overcapped on this, but I wanted to make sure that I had points in anatomy, so that base calculation, I make sure that I'm getting as much as I can out of it. If I were to put those points somewhere else, I would probably just get 20 alchemy to make my pots last longer. You don't have to do it exactly like this. It's, you do whatever you want. I'm just doing what works for me. Although this build on the left with forensics, it does require links, depending on what aspect you run. So the main aspects I run are fortune, which will require links, swing speed links, I should say. I run holy, which requires maybe half of what I need for fortune. And then obviously if you run air aspect, which is the other one I have, you don't need anything. It just gives you all the swing speed. So to give you the intro level build that does not require any links to get you to swing speed cap, I'm going to go ahead and activate this so that my stats will update. Okay, so you see here, we're looking at accuracy. We're overcapped on accuracy. I'm using tier 14 void on my weapon, and I have an Averite weapon. You can downgrade to like Agapite, like harpoons, with 100 fishing and be fine, right? So you don't have to run Averite. So that's another bonus of this, is because you have 100 fishing. You don't really need to worry about accuracy. A thing you can do if you're still worried about accuracy is you can use the snipe stance. Here, let me open my codex and show you, right? So snipe, drag this over here so you can see the description. It says accuracy increased by 4% per rank. So if you're hurting for accuracy, snipe is something you can use. If you overcap with snipe, it will actually, I don't know if it still does this, but it's supposed to, if you overcap, it's supposed to give you 1% damage for every percentage that you go overcap. I'm not sure if it still does that. In any case, so you see that I'm 28% right now. I have 9 melee swing speed links on me. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that chain off, You see this chain is my regular Dexter chain. I just have bleed the creatures on there, so you can see there's no swing speed on here. I'm going to throw that on. And you see that I go to 21%. Alright, so I'm setting that up because I want to show you what I end up getting to. So double click my delectable food, gives me 5%. I'm now at 26. And another skill that will give you swing speed. Yes, Arms Lore now gives you swing speed. Chivalry, if you don't already know, you want to use Chivalry for Divine Fury. Divine Fury gives swing speed 15% times effective Chivalry. So in this case, we're at 120 Chivalry. So it's going to give us something like close to 18% or something like that. Extra swing speed. In my opinion, 120 Chivalry is pretty much necessary for any Dexter build, except for maybe a Poison Dexter, but that's not what we're talking about. Alright, so I'm going to activate Divine Fury. Now I'm going to go back and wait for the world save. I'm going to go back to the melee, and you can see I am at 44% now, right? That's still not enough. I said you could be swing speed capped. Okay, let's look at this again. I have inherent swing speed from focus, right? And you could see that on here on the bottom, effects and modifiers. You can see that. But one other skill that will give you swing speed is actually magic resist, as long as you have the spell siphon ability activated, which means you need to be hit by a spell. It might seem like a pain in the butt. It's like, oh, I need to get out there and get hit by a spell, and I need to find a boat or like find a mob or something that'll cast on me. You can have another character cast on you to activate spell siphon, but here's what I do. I carry a satchel, a reg satchel anyway when I go out, because I like to collect the regs, and if I have a satchel, it reduces the weight of the regs, so it's just kind of handy. And then I come back and I throw them in my shelf. A lot of people leave regs. I used to do that too. I don't do it anymore. It's definitely worth it when you're like farming wilderness or something to scoop up all the regs you can. I think I made like 4 or 5 commodities in like a couple of days when I was doing it. Anyway, so here's what I do. I bring my reg satchel, and I bring magic arrow scrolls. And then I will go ahead and cast magic arrow, and I'll cast it on myself, and it will create the or engage the spell siphon bonus. So I don't have to go around and look for a mob or have another character logged in to cast on me to do it. Fun fact, I had my factioner cast magic arrow on my harpooner one time, and I was not tabbed out, and I did not have the weapon off of my harpooner, and he hit my factioner so hard he killed him in 2 hits. So it's kind of embarrassing. So you can avoid that too if you just cast magic arrow on yourself. Alright, so go ahead and activate that again. Let's look at our player stats. Okay, so there you go. So I am perfectly with this stat lineup, or skill lineup. 120 Shiv, 100 Anatomy, 100 Fishing, Tactics, 80 Arms Lore, 80 Healing, 80 Focus, and 60 Magic Resist. I am perfectly at 50% swing speed cap. It only says 50.5 here because I have red line points. I need 1 more red line point to actually get my another link unlocked. So for now I just have like the extra 0.5% swing speed, but it doesn't really matter. So this puts you perfectly at 50% swing speed, which is the cap. And as you can see, like I showed you a minute ago, I do not have any swing speed links installed, and all I did was make this build and cast magic arrow on myself and activate Divine Fury, which is what you'd do anyway if you're fighting. Make sure you eat your delectable food that gives you the 5%. So yeah, with focus and all that, focus helps with, or gives you accuracy. 100 fishing, make sure that not only are you accurate, and it gives you flexibility with weapons, so you don't constantly need an Averite weapon or exceedingly accurate weapon. And the way I have it set up with 100 Anatomy and then the other skills with 80 Focus and 120 Shiv, I make sure that I'm actually at the PvP damage cap. And I have 60 magic resist to help with me getting casted on in PvP. So it's a nice little farming build. Arms Lore really helps with the damage. And I'm decent in PvP. Having the disarm with 80 arms lore helps me against other harpooners. So a lot of times they're pretty surprised when you immediately disarm them. And so they don't really know what to do. Sometimes they back off for a little bit. Yeah, so that's me sharing my current build that doesn't require any links. I run different builds for different things, but this is what provides me the most flexibility when I'm just kind of putt-putting around out there. So cool, thanks. Leave me any comments, or message me on Discord or something. If you have any comments, concerns, questions, whatever. Happy to help. Thanks.